What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, and I'm here with my boy Dom, and he just came down to Connecticut so that we can, because we're partnering on a store right now with a new method that I'm working on. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted Dom to be able to tell his story. You know, he has a YouTube channel and stuff, but I thought I'd give him a shout out because he's got a really interesting path that he's kind of taken, you know, hopping from state to state and just chasing this one goal that you just accomplished last week, which is great. I'll let you share the story. But yeah, if you want to introduce yourself and start from the beginning of your story, you know, wherever you want to start from, really.
Yeah, well, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. What's going on, guys? I'm Dom Marachi. I do have a YouTube channel, like he mentioned. We'll start with, I don't even know, man. When I was young, super young, it was all about, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a business. Like talking, not actually doing anything. That was probably the worst thing ever, right? Like I just was like literally just chasing, not even chasing something that I wanted, just saying I wanted it, right? Mm-hmm. And first thing I ever did was when I was 15, started a delivery car wash service. So you would literally, I would knock on doors and be like, hey.
That's actually fire. Like if I lived in a more populated area, like we're in the boondocks here, but if I definitely would have done that because I love cars and just, you know, rinsing them out.
So yeah, bro, we went door to door. I would say, hey, you know, all you need is to give us access to your hose. Leave like the car open, and we'll schedule an appointment wherever you're, you know, if you're home and you want to leave the car, if you're out and you want to leave the car. So I did that when I was like 15, man. I made like $500 and like, and then dude, I don't know what happened with that, honestly. Like we just went door to door. That was like all we knew. Like I wish we knew about like social media marketing, something like that. Because after a while I was like, dude, too much.
It's interesting that you started with door to door though, because door to door, like I'm telling you, if you want to, if you want to come out from having nothing, like you said that you were 15, right? Yeah. So similar to what I had to do, getting a job is not an option. Most people are not willing to put themselves at risk to give you some money, even if you're willing to work hard for it. So, like, if you're young and you're out there, like, we went through the same exact thing. Like, you have to go door to door. You have to make shit happen and do the hard stuff. Yeah, bro. Like, I'm super glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, I don't even, and by the way, like, you didn't even know that before this video,
no,
which is pretty cool. But, dude, same thing, yeah. So same with Noah. Noah did the same thing, man. That's just, like, I don't know. I feel like it does build you a lot, and, like, but it's not. It's so hard. Yeah. But anyway, so did that, and then honestly just kind of put my goals, I guess, to the side for a while. Like, it was like, I kind of got discouraged. I was younger. I was like, man, I don't think I can do this. It was whatever. So I finished up school, high school, and dude, I was like, man, what do I do? What do I do? I want a business. I want to start a business. So I went to business school, right? I was like, this is going to be great. A semester in, I realized the first day, a business 101, the teacher says to me, she goes, so I've never owned a business. I've never, you know, had one. I've never done anything. My sister owned a business, and I've always found it interesting, so I decided to teach it. I literally thought to myself, like, do you realize that everything you say now is going to be in this year, out the other? Because why would I listen? Yeah. Vice versa, you put Bill Gates up there, I'm not blinking. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm going to learn from someone who's never done what I want to do? Anyway, I put that to the side, and then honestly, I just was like, F school. I was so upset with school. I was so upset with not knowing what I was doing, spending money on school. And I was like, how do I make money? What do I do, right? So I just went on Google, YouTube, and I was like, how to make money, how to make money online. Probably like similar to most people do. Found Graham Stephan, who is now huge, bro. I found him when he had 65K subscribers. Yeah. About a year ago. It was a year and a half ago. And he had a video with Sebastian Giorgio, who some of you guys should know at least. Pretty big guy up in the dropshipping space on YouTube. And he had him on. He was like, how this 18-year-old is making $60,000 a month with Shopify. And I was like, what, man? Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, what? Like, never heard of it, all this stuff. And literally, like, it was just a 20-minute interview. Sebastian was talking about he's making this, he's doing that, his goal's like 100K. I was like, what? Like, it was a totally different new world to me, bro. I had no idea. And Sebastian in that video said, the biggest thing I did was just take action and start. And that was something that I was lacking for, like, remember, like 4 years was not taking action. So literally after that video, bro, I signed up for Shopify, free trial, and I just started from there. And that was about a year and a half ago, like March 2018. And it's been a journey since then, man. Oh my God. Trying Instagram shout outs and having things backwards, creating a whole store for a product.
Yeah, so like where testing like after you made that first free trial, like where did you go from there? Because there's probably a lot of people that go out there and they just have no clue what they're doing. Yeah. They'll run a Facebook ad for like $5 a day and just do no targeting or and it's an ad for like liking their Facebook page and.
BP.
You know, like where did you go? Like you made your free trial. I'm assuming you spent like 2 months building your store. A month, yeah. So.
A full month, man. I spent a full month making my store. Everything was like I was so like into it. It was called the Accessory Secret, and I was just gonna drop ship bracelets. That was my goal.
Nice.
And
I started with watches.
Yeah. And dude, I was taking custom pictures too because I just thought that was what you had to do. And man, I ran Instagram shoutouts, bro. I made like no money. I did make my first sale on my first store, maybe first few sales, which was best feeling in the world, but no money at all, like no profit.
So you went straight to influencers.
Right to influencers, big like fashion men's pages,
When was this? What was the time frame?
March 2018. So literally the first month and first 2 months of me drop shipping was the first month was building up a whole store around these bracelets that I didn't even know would work, and then trying to make influencers work for them until I literally was like, yo, but spent like $1,000, whatever it was. From there, I'm like, man, I need to be a little bit more. I thought I needed to be more targeted because I'm like, maybe bracelets, like it's just so hard to target. I don't know. So I made another huge mistake and tried thinking of what would sell instead of just selling what's already selling or testing it out. And I created this store called Vegan Believin', and it was a vegan print-on-demand t-shirt store. Literally, like...
How long you take to build that?
Including designs?
Yeah, everything.
Like 2 months.
Damn.
2 months,
so
bro.
You didn't learn that lesson yet.
Bro, no. And I was making, like, vegan from my head to my toes, and it would be like a tomato. You know what I mean? Like funny, quirky designs for vegans. And that I actually saw some success with. Probably like I would say I made like $8K on the store.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, but like I don't even know.
How much you spend though?
Like a lot. Like and that's another thing is the fact that I don't even know what I spent or how much I made or how much I brought back shows you where I was. You know what I mean? It shows you how responsible I was with everything. So that was probably like that was a huge mistake that I want a lot of people to learn from. Was once I made that store and I had all these designs and I took 2 months to make it. I was so emotionally attached to Vegan Believin', this store and this products, and I tried so many times, bro. I would say like 50 different shout-outs, like
just like forcing it.
Oh, forcing it, bro. And I was like, that's probably why I just didn't even make any money at the end of the day. Like maybe up front I was like making a little bit, but after a while I just burned out. And I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? Like what am I doing wrong? And literally that's when I just started really actually saying to myself, all right, I don't know everything. I need to seek information. I need to go out there and try to really, really learn. So I went from watching like a couple YouTube videos to now hitting people up on consulting calls and investing in some courses and just stuff like that. Those didn't help too much, but they gave me more of an understanding of like what to do, I guess. Give me a little bit of direction, which definitely did help. And any knowledge at that point could have helped. But that's when I started realizing, all right, I'm just gonna go straight to Facebook ads. All right, so switch from Instagram and creating these stores and products and whatever to strictly Facebook ads. And I was like, let me just test a shit ton of products, man. Just test, whatever. That's when I started, man. That was, I just went ham. I started so many different stores, but my biggest mistake was I was making stores for products that I would test. I still was doing that. That was probably the biggest thing you could learn from my story was like, don't go all in on a product until you know it works. But anyway, just from there, man, testing for months, like probably another 6 months, lost like 3K. I've shared that story on my channel before, like learning from what I've done. Lost like 3K, was too stubborn to even seek more information or network or meet people.
Too stubborn, you said?
Too stubborn, thinking that I knew everything already. Oh. Like I didn't need to learn from people. I'm too smart to learn. Why do I need to, you know? Literally being an idiot, right? From there, man, just tested like a mofo.
Product strategies.
Yeah, so starting mainly with general store. So it was just a general store and I just had products listed. I'm not sure. I was doing a mix between picture and video. I was making my own videos and trash. Like, it was not as good. Like, it was not as good.
Viral ecom vids, link in the description.
Actually, literally. And like, just not, having any system or having any kind of like learning in place of what I was doing and paying attention to why didn't this product work or how can I improve on the next product. It was like, I just thought, let me just go out there and test and like just literally was throwing money away essentially. And then, man, I just started to really, really value networking and meeting people and investing in courses and all this kind of stuff. And when I did that and I started to actually invest in information, that's when it really did take a big change for me. Just like little things, like little golden nuggets of like how to test a product or like what to look for when you're cutting a product. Like that stuff I didn't even know. Like, I'm going out there just thinking like I'm gonna put out a $5 ad and it's gonna make me $20 a day. Like it was so crazy. So
like, do you feel like you're very observant? Like when you were testing all those things, were you just kind of like throwing stuff at the wall, or were you letting it run and then observing, or you know like kind of trying to figure out what kind of thing? Because like for me, you know, people know this is like I only let an ad set run like max 2 days, maybe 3 depending if it gets checkouts, and nobody told me that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that my mentor had like some rules that I would follow. Like I think his was 3 days, but you know, just eventually I figured out that like 95% of winning ad sets or 95% of winning products will make a sale in the first 2 days.
Yep.
So like, were you learning things? Were you picking things up from the actual money that you were putting out there?
Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
That was
seriously, and I'm being honest. I mean, I'm sharing my mistakes. Like, no, not at all. That video that I mentioned before, it's literally titled "How I Lost $3,000." I talked about I was testing blindly. That was the first reason that I put in the video. Is that's what I learned. I learned that you can't just go out there and not pay attention to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You can't go out there and say, all right, yeah, I'll test this, I'll do that. It's like, no, you gotta say, all right, when I tested this, or you know, when I made this type of thumbnail, or when I made this type of video, or tested this type of product, what happened? What did I do? What was the CPC? Did I need to improve my video? A lot of different things. Mm-hmm. But it really was up until like what you said, really all that happened that changed a lot for me was I just kept testing until something actually hit somehow. Yeah. And the reason it hit is crazy, and I'll share the product because I never sell it anymore, but it was, my first winner was a jacket. So it was just wintertime last year, November of last year was when my first winter came in. So that was about, just to give people some timing, about 8 to 9 months into my journey was when I actually started to make money, not like make sales or actually make profit. And it was literally just this cool jacket, little design on it. And I think I just put a picture ad just on Instagram, white background image. And I tested that and it just slapped and it did so well. Funny story real quick was when I first tested it, I saw like 20 add to carts, 15 checkouts initiated, and I was like, oh my God, 0 sales. And I was like, what the heck? Turns out the product I tested before that, it was a jewel charger, and Stripe banned my account, and I had no idea. They barely sent me an email, so I was testing products without a payment processor. Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, wait, what the heck? So when I figured that out, I'm like, oh my God, I might actually have like a winner. Like I didn't know. So I fixed that up, I launched it again, and all of a sudden I'm starting to hear sales.
That's good.
And I was like, oh crap. Because all you hear is, man, you need to find a winner. You need to find a winner. You need to find a winner. And I was like, holy.
And you're like, what is a winner? Like
what is it? What is it? Yeah. What is it? You know, what does it mean? And I really knew, at that point I was a little bit more aware of like, okay, I'm selling this jacket for $35, I'm buying it for $13. I need a sale under 22 to be profitable. That was my basic understanding, but I didn't know how to scale, I didn't know any of this other things. So anyway, it starts doing pretty well, and again, I was still pretty experienced, but I ended up doing 80K with that product in sales with like 15 net profit, which looking back on it, for my first winter, like, it's all right. I would love to have more profit, and I know I can do that now, but you know, that was my first winter, and that changed absolutely everything for me, man.
That was after, you know, 9 months of,
and lost like $5 grand, man. Like,
you know, you lost money, time,
everything, bro. Hope, like not just time and money. Like, bro, there was times where I was like, I am like so close to not doing this. Like, I am effed. I'm effed. I've tried so many different things. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So it was a lot of different things, man. It was a loss of money. It was a loss of time. It was a loss of like belief in myself, which was the hardest thing, because again, I was stubborn in the beginning. I was like, I got this, like, you know, but it changed everything, like I said. So that little belief led to me starting on multiple successful stores. One big mistake I did make that I want to mention, and I'm all about mistakes, by the way, because I think that's the best way people who are watching these can learn. The biggest mistake I made was when I found that winner, right? I started making some sales, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I got super comfortable. I was making like 500 a day probably for about 2 months or whatever it was. And I was so comfortable, I didn't test a single product for another 2 months. Yeah, and guess what? Guess what? That product died and I had no more income again. I was back to square one. So if you ever find a winner, don't stop testing, number one. Anyway, continued with that, built up another store that's actually a full case study within one of my programs. But so I can't share that store, you know, that product in that store, but That store did 21,000 in its first month, netting about 7K, and then did the same thing next month, about 20,000. And again, I was like, oh my God, all right, now I'm onto it. And then from there, it was like, okay, I know what I got to do. I have to continue testing products. I have to continue just finding winners and recycling and just staying afloat, right? Staying consistent,
right.
Not dropping, not going up and down and up and down. So from there, I really perfected my strategy of how can I most efficiently test products, but also have the potential to brand them and create brands around them and actually increase that conversion rate once you scale. Because that was a problem I had with the first store with the jacket. Was it was a general store, it had trend in the name. So I was kind of stuck on what I could brand it towards, and I definitely think that if I had like an open name like I do now, I could have made a legitimate maybe jacket or clothing brand around it and got much more profit. Anyway, so that's when I really started just going ham, testing. About a year in, that's really like where I'm at now. So it's continued from there. But again, I've learned from my mistakes, so I'm consistently now making money, right? From drop shipping. There's a difference between me and Noah were actually talking about this the other day. Like, there's a difference between like making $10,000 and $10,000 being your monthly salary, right? Or being your monthly income. There's a huge difference, right? And that's what happened to me. I made $15,000, but I wasn't making $15,000 a month, you know? But now it's gotten to the point where it is like that, gratefully. And you know, it's really all it comes down to is just giving yourself enough time, perfecting your strategies, and not giving up. I mean, it's so cliche, but bro, just don't give up.
I think
that's it.
The most interesting thing about sharing other people's stories or even telling mine is that it's always like, okay, so I started out by, you know, like an empty puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to like work the pieces. You know, and then once you kind of like figure out like, okay, this piece goes here, you just kind of start doing it over and over again. Like you talked about, you know, you struggle for like 8 or 9 months, and then, you know, you found a winner. You made sales, but probably not a lot of money, and then, you know, you did it again, which is you know, putting together the pieces. You did it for a second time, so you're starting to get the hang of it now. And obviously there were mistakes along the way, but like it's really that simple to get from nothing to, you know, a very consistent, you know, full-time income, whatever, not have to worry about money all that much. Is just as simple as like finding how to put the pieces together,
literally,
and then just doing that over and over again and just building
and giving it enough time to actually put all the pieces together.
Like replicating.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor.
That was your mistake the first time when you said like I got complacent or this, is you missed the replication. The replicating is really what you were missing.
For sure. The replication was the biggest thing. Like we were talking about, is just getting complacent, not really continuing to test. And you know, really the long story short, well, it wasn't too short, but you know, drop shipping alone has just completely changed my life. I know you hear that a lot, but it legitimately is true. Like Noah mentioned before, so you know, I was talking about how personal stuff was going on while I was learning drop shipping, while I was going through this. There was external motivations that I had to make this work, to be financially free and all these different things. And there was a lot of sacrifices I had to make, you know. But the biggest thing, you know, and a lot of things that weren't mentioned in what I was just talking about, you know, with the whole journey of testing and all these actual tactical things, and there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of other things that were involved in my journey and how I wanted to drop ship and stuff. So, you know, basically one of the biggest things was, you know, when I graduated high school, my parents were gratefully able to retire, and they moved to North Carolina. And I was in New York. I was on Long Island at the time. I grew up there. I had a girlfriend there. I had all my hometown friends, and that's what pushed me. I was like, well, I have to go to school in North Carolina for my parents to pay for it. Otherwise, I would have to pay for it. I don't have a dollar to my name. So started drop shipping again. That was in the beginning, and that was a big motive for me. And I actually tried to move out on my own to stay. And I literally was working 2 jobs, trying to drop ship, trying to spend time with my friends. It was just a mess. Basically what happened was I decided that if I wanted to make this work, I would have to make sacrifices. If I really wanted to become financially free, or to become, you know, an entrepreneur, or whatever the case, or my own boss, self-made, I needed to make sacrifices. And you hear that all the time, but you legitimately do. And one of the biggest sacrifices I've made to this date was leaving everything that I built on Long Island, you know, friendships, my girlfriend, you know, all these different things. I literally was like, I need to leave this. You know, my girlfriend and I were arguing a lot once I started the business because I didn't have as much time as I did. She was kind of getting upset with me and all this stuff, long story short, I was just like, man, I want this more than anything out there. So I literally moved from Long Island, lived alone, like lived with my parents again. I ate that bullet, I swallowed that tough pill to swallow of like, hey guys, I just moved out a little bit ago thinking I was the man, but can you take me back in? I had to really come in and like, swallow my pride and stuff, and it was tough, but that was a big sacrifice I made, and that gave me so much focus and time on all of this. And literally a month later is when I found that first winner. And that's just the, what it shows what it takes, really.
You showed the universe you were serious.
Literally, and it came back. I believe in that 100%, man. And,
dude, like that transition always happens.
Yeah.
Like there's always a transition of like, I'm doing this, like yada yada yada, but you just talk a lot and
exactly. And that's all I did.
You watch a lot of YouTube videos and then
bro.
You're doing all this stuff that doesn't really generate you stuff, and then there's a transition where it's like, okay, like if I really want it, I need to take it seriously, and I need to, stop doing this or start doing that or stop doing this. Like a lot of people don't even hit that transition, and that's why people make excuses.
Yeah.
Like, me being a mentor to so many people, I see it all the time where people are, in the stage before that transition, and all it is just excuses.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I can tell you, it's not a coincidence that, the first like real winner that you got was a month after you made that decision. Because you showed yourself, you showed the Shopify gods, you showed the universe. You're like, look, I really want this. Like I left my what is that, like that's your hometown,
yeah,
right? Like,
hometown,
my friends, my income, everything for this.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were just like, dude, look, like you've been through enough, we're gonna give it
yeah, well, yeah, definitely. And from there the goal was, once I started making money and I was still living home, I was just like, the dream or whatever was to somehow be able to be so, to make enough money to where I can see my parents and see my friends, or live in New York or live in North Carolina, or be there for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And I knew that drop shipping would get me that because it's online. So, and it's passive, most of it, right? So that's what it was. And then from there, once I realized that I could make money, the goal was just like save, man. It's like earn, and save until I was kind of comfortable with the amount that I had. And then the goal was to actually move to New York.
But do it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like actually move when you can, like when you're like financially stable enough to do so, and you're not just like working like 10 jobs.
Exactly. Like a good amount, a safe bet in the bank, right? Like all this stuff, money coming in, and I was definitely much more comfortable. And like Noah mentioned in the beginning of the video, up to about 2 weeks ago, is when I moved to New York City with my cousin. So I'm literally living with my family that I grew up with. My buddies, my hometown is like 40 minutes away, and I can fly back and forth. I see my parents all the time. So literally, within a year to a year and a half's time, I went from saying I was going to do it to doing it, and really had the drive, I guess, to just stick with it. And that's one of the biggest things I always tell people who are starting. I'm like, are you going to be okay 3 months in when you've put in 60 hours a week, you've lost $3,000, are you still going to keep going? Because if you're not going to make it in this business. You're not going to make it really in any business. So, and just to show, I don't know, Noah didn't even tell me to do this, so I just don't want to like BS here and talk like I'm making money and I'm not. I just want to show some stats. Like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people don't do it. This is just like this month, just to show you guys. I'm not trying to I'll just refresh. Yeah. Let's see if we can focus it. See it? So this is this month. As you guys can see, about 34,000 halfway through the month. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, we're on track to hit about 30,000 this month. I mean, 30,000 this month, we already hit it. 70,000 this month, and like that's the thing to me, man. I can't even like say it because it's like still so surreal to me. With about 42% profit. Either way, what that's allowed me to do is literally take that and what I was talking about Noah before is really analyze what I'm doing now and systemizing everything to where I know that that's coming in every month.
Like VAs.
Everything, man. VAs.
See, now He's making
videos,
money.
bro.
See, now you making money, you're getting your shit together, and you're not gonna let the whole like product die out and your screwed thing happen again.
That's it. Just keep moving.
You can't, and like that's exactly what we're doing together, dude.
Literally.
Like, we're starting the test,
Yep.
and like when me and him find a winner tomorrow,
Book it, baby.
we're gonna find a winner tomorrow. If not, the
Book
day
it.
after.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
We're not gonna stop. Like we're booking another store. Like literally the same day.
Clockwork.
We have the VA in place. We have, he's working hard on it because obviously I'm really busy, but, like everything is in place just to never stop, which is so overpowered.
And it's so, exactly, it literally is overpowered. The amount of money you really, like, can make online is just, it really is insane. And like, I always thought of it this way, it's drop shipping is a skill, right? And there's a bunch of mini skills that go into it. And you guys know firsthand, but at the same time, the better you get at all those skills, the more money you make. And the more seriously you take it, the more money you make. The more you systemize, the more money you make.
Yeah.
All these different things. And dude, I mean, it's been a really long journey. But to be here, sitting here, talking, telling my story to a guy that I literally like look up to in this space, like it really is like surreal. So, I appreciate Noah having me on this channel, by the way, letting me tell my story. I yap, I'm Italian, so I'll sit and yap for like 6 hours. So I hope you guys didn't get bored.
Yes, bro, well. Thank you for coming and coming here, and we're gonna get a lot of stuff done. I'm sure we'll be doing more videos in the future, but
maybe even more in-depth stuff on our stories.
Yeah.
Potentially,
that would be good.
Potentially.
Yeah. But I'm gonna leave Dom's YouTube and Instagram link in the description just for him. I know that he has a ton of content on his YouTube, and I like it. I mean, I love your YouTube. That's part of the reason why we first started talking.
Literally.
You didn't have as many followers back then, but you definitely deserve what you got. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like for my boy Dom and go give him a follow on YouTube. But that's it for this video. This is Noah Brewer, and I'm out. Peace.